Hello class 10th. Today I am going to start the other poem, The Trees by Adrian Rich. Before I start this poem, I would like to tell you one thing, that this poem has 4 verses. So I will be taking 2 verses today and 2 in the next video. So one more thing before we start, I just want you to compare these trees metaphorically to the women in the society. Then you would be able to understand it better. Let's have a look at the poem first. The poet is saying, can there be a forest without trees? Where are the trees in this poem and where do they go? Here in this poem, basically, the poet is talking about a condition when all the trees that are captivated inside the greenhouse resolve to break the greenhouse and move out towards the forest. This poem depicts that story. Same ways now you compare it metaphorically to the women in the society who are so much oppressed because of the dominant men, and one day they resolve to stand against all this oppression. So same ways you can understand this poem. Now, the trees inside are moving out into the forest. The forest that was empty all these days, where no bird could sit, no insect hide, no sun bury its feet in shadow. The forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. What the poet is saying, the trees inside, here inside refers to the greenhouse where they are captivated. The trees inside are moving out into the forest. The trees have decided to break all the shackles of slavery, or you can say of confinement. Slavery in terms of women I am talking. They have decided that they will break all the shackles and they will be moving out into the forest, means they will be moving out into the free space, the space of their own. The forest that was empty all these days, and the forest, this forest can refer to their dreams, that was empty all these days, okay, where no bird could sit, no insect hide. And why this forest was empty? Because there were no trees, because there were no aspirations. If you talk in context of women, if you have no aspirations, you have no life. So there is very important factor of life or living is to have some aspirations or have some desires. So the forest basically here is empty. Why? Because all the trees are confined inside. And that is why, because of its confinement, no bird could sit, no insect could hide over here. Okay? No sun bury its feet in shadow, and no sun can bury its feet in shadow. Means when you see in the wherever there is an orchard or there is a group of trees, what happens there? The sunlight actually penetrates through the you can say the dense forest, which is being referred here to bury its feet in shadow. Now, the forest that was empty all these nights. The forest here refers again to the dreams, to the aspirations of the women that have been empty all these nights. Why? Because the trees were confined inside, because the women were confined inside, or were being oppressed by the men of the society. Will be full of trees by morning. But what will happen when these trees will move out, or when these women will decide to revolt? What will happen? The next day, the next morning will be a new morning, new beginning for them, because the trees will be there in the forest, because the forest, or you can say the forest will be full of trees. Next verse. All night the roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The leaves strain towards the glass. Small twigs stiff with exertion. Long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof like newly discharged patients, half dazed, moving to the clinic doors. Now what she is saying over here, the poet is saying that all night the roots work. This all night, or this dark hour of the life, what they are doing, they are working on themselves. What they are working on? They are working on thinking what to be done, how it has to be done, to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. Cracks in the veranda floor here refers to the direct meaning. If we take in trees, it is the cracks that are there because of being there too powerful. The trees are able to move out now. Or if we talk in context of women in the society, we can say that whatever torture they have born till now, it is enough for them and they have decided to come out of it. So they are trying to disengage themselves or free themselves. The leaves strain towards the glass. Every bit of them, every bit of the trees is trying its best to break the norms. Even the women, in context of women, if we say, they are trying to break the norms, they are trying to come out of their shell. Okay. Now, small twigs. Here, twigs refers to branches. Here, sorry, small twigs refer to branches. They are turning stiff with exertion. Exertion means whatever effort they are putting in coming out. And the leaves strain that I have told you. Long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof. And the long cramped boughs. Why boughs or branches have cramped? Because they do not have the free space. They do not have the freedom. What they are doing? They are shuffling under the roof. They are moving rapidly under the roof. Now, like newly discharged patients, half dazed, moving to the clinic doors. And what the poet is doing over here? She is comparing these boughs or branches to the newly discharged patients who are moving out of the hospital through the clinic doors. Their half days means they are still not completely well, or you can say they are still not sure about their movement. Okay. So now you see, like newly discharged patients is a simile over here, and otherwise if you see, I cannot find any other over here, any poetic device used over here. In the entire poem, metaphor has been used because the trees are signifying the women of the society. Okay. Rest we will be discussing in the next video. Thank you so much.